it's pretty common for people to struggle with situational awareness when they are on a horse, especially if they get nervous, because that nervousness or discomfort in some way can actually sort of pigeonhole your focus to just this little space in front of you, if even that. And when I'm teaching in clinics, this actually comes up a lot because there's a lot of information to take in and navigate. You have the other riders in the arena, you have auditors coming and going, you have your own horse, you have other horses, you have yourself. It's a lot of things to take in. And sharing a space with other riders in a boarding barn or out on the trail, this can be something that comes up and can cause a lot of problems, and it can certainly become a safety issue. That's something I see a lot, is when other people are not aware of the space and the other people and horses around them, we get a lot of safety issues or things that could have been prevented gone wrong. So I want to give you 3 things to practice your spatial and situational awareness to the point that you are taking in more information and able to react more effectively without freezing. So just make these things a daily habit, and it's a really good way to practice it. The first one is to take stock of yourself. That's really actually quite a big project to take on, right? We can never really perfect that one, but taking awareness of yourself, taking stock of yourself, and ideally doing this before you get into a big space where you're required to be able to take in a lot of information. So like before you get into the branding pen or the warm-up arena where you need all these things to be working really well, take stock of yourself from head to toe. How's your breathing? How's your positioning? What are you feeling in your body? What feels good? What feels bad? How's your mood? How's your vision? I know that one is silly, but a lot of times if you're nervous, your vision is this much. Whereas if you're feeling pretty good and confident, your vision can be broader. What are you hearing? What are you smelling? What are you experiencing? So that's the first one, is take stock of yourself. And then the second one is take stock of your horse. So what are you feeling from your horse? What are you hearing from your horse? What are you seeing from your horse? What feels normal and what doesn't feel normal? What's going well and what's not going well? And how do your 2 bodies connect today? What do the gaits feel like, and how does your back feel riding those gaits? Or how do your legs feel around your horse? And that sort of thing. So you have your normal baseline of what you know of your horse, and let's say you're in the warm-up ring or the branding pen or whatever. What does your horse feel like today, and what do you need to do about it? What normally works? What have you prepared for? So you, then your horse, and your horse together. And then the third one is take stock around you. Who do you see near you? What do you see near you? What are the horses doing around you? What are the other people's awareness? A lot of times I think it's safe to assume the other people are not aware of you or your horse. So you need to ride maybe a little more defensively, kind of like you're in downtown traffic. What could potentially happen if you move into or out of a space? So that's a big one, right? Like at clinics, a lot of times, maybe somebody is getting on their horse, and that horse might be a little bit fractious, and an auditor will pick up and scooch their chair across the floor, right? So that shows an inability to take in information at that moment to perceive what the next move would be. So when you're taking in information, what happens if you pick up the canter around that corner? What's the horse in front of you and behind you potentially going to do? But that's really hard for a lot of people, even experienced riders, to think of the what will happen if. What will happen if I move into this space? What will that rider do coming around that corner? What will happen if that door opens, or what will happen if I open that door next to this horse who happens to be looking in the opposite direction? So getting really good at these 3 things takes a lot of practice. Each one is its own individual skill, and put them all together, that's a very unique set of skills, and it's something that all the great horsemen and women that I know have intuitively almost. They've practiced it their entire life, but they probably don't even realize how much information they're taking in. And a lot of it is predictive. I'm predicting that this could happen, so I'm avoiding this, right? As don't wait until something bad happens to react and head it off. So practicing awareness of self, awareness of your horse plus yourself, and awareness of yourself plus your horse plus the environment. 3 separate skills. And realistically, when you're riding your horse in a group or in a public situation, you need to be doing all 3 constantly. So you can never really afford to tune out any one of those things, which is really easy to do when we get focused on our ride, to forget to look around and see what's happening. But it's just like driving through traffic. You need to know where the other drivers are around you and what they could and potentially do. And it's fair to assume that everyone driving in traffic is looking at their phone and not paying attention to you. So you have to be extra aware. Assume nothing, take as much responsibility as possible, and when in doubt, always come back to, what do you see, what do you hear, what do you feel, and what could happen, and how can you prevent that from happening if you don't want it, or how can you create it if you do want it. So hopefully those are helpful for you.